With more now on that vote in the U.S. Senate is Laura Kelly, foreign policy reporter for The Hill in Washington. Laura, good to see you again. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So this vote, that would theoretically have an effect on of preventing Donald Trump from putting tariffs on Canada, was only made possible because 4 Republicans sided with this Democratic resolution. What does that say to you about the concern within Republican ranks about these tariffs?
Unfortunately, not much. I think for these 4 Republicans that decided to join the resolution, it's politically safe for them. Senator Collins is the senator from Maine, so of course she has an interest in demonstrating to her constituency that she is against raising prices for them and creating hardship with President Trump's tariffs on Canada. Senator Rand Paul, this is a position that he's principled on. Senator Murkowski from Alaska, she also has a state bordering Canada, so it's important to have good relations. And then there is Senator Mitch McConnell, who really has very little to lose in opposing Trump and has really put himself at the forefront of opposing Trump when he does not agree with those policies. So in one respect, it's like, wow, 4 Republicans, they're breaking ranks, they're taking a position. But when you see what the downstream effects are, it's very little and they're pretty safe.
Pretty safe, as you say, but is there concern within Republican ranks about these tariffs? Because at the end of the day, they do raise prices for the average American.
I think we saw the most concern and the most pushback from Republicans when President Trump said that he was going to, so kind of opposite to the tariffs, but when he was going to import beef from Argentina. So not exactly on tariffs, but on the president's policies. And if they're coming out against this one, it maybe signals that they're kind of reaching a breaking point where they can't just go along completely. So I found that interesting.
Mm-hmm. And what about Americans? How are they feeling about these tariffs? And I appreciate that, it's going to be anecdotal, but pulling out of the Capitol building where you are right now, do Americans see the impact of tariffs? Because clearly Canadians are well versed in its impact on our economy.
I think the data is showing that while inflation is only slightly rising, there are concerns about prices on household goods and things like that. But the Chicago Council on Global Affairs have new survey results out this week where 3 in 4 Americans, the survey is specifically about the USMCA agreement. So I thought that was interesting. 3 in 4 Americans say the USMCA free trade agreement is good for the U.S. economy. That's 75%. And the majority of Americans see trade with Canada and Mexico as benefiting U.S. national security. For Americans who like trade with Canada, it's 81%. But there is a partisan divide where Republicans are more favorable toward tariffs compared to Democrats in this Chicago Council on Global Affairs survey. An April poll found that a majority of Americans are opposed to tariffs on Canada and Mexico in particular. So I think there is overall concern and stress among Americans about whether tariffs are the right policy, but this very deep division in American society between Republicans and Democrats will give, especially with Republicans supporting President Trump, will give the president and his supporters leeway to move forward on these things.
Mm-hmm. Leeway, as you say, and even with this vote from the U.S. Senate, it has gone in favor from Canada's perspective because it's against the tariffs on this country. But this vote has been described as largely symbolic. Why would it be only symbolic if it's the Senate that's passing it?
Yes, well, the resolution would have to go to the House for a vote. It's unlikely that House Speaker Mike Johnson is going to bring it up for a floor vote. And actually, the House isn't even here. The government has been shut down for, I think, nearly a month. I think we're coming up to it. And there's very little indication that there's movement towards opening the government. So we don't even have the House here to vote on anything. And then even if the House voted on it and passed it, President Trump could veto it when it comes to his desk.
Okay. Well, Laura, thank you for walking us through that. Appreciate the time this evening.
Thank you guys so much.